Will one of Dr. Thomas Wayne's old patients end up holding a terrible revelation regarding the Wayne's murder? And if so, what could this mean for the Dark Knight? Well, let's hop into the pages of Detective Comics issue number 1090, the beginning of the brand new Tom Taylor era, and find out what happens next together, shall we? Alrighty then, so as we join the book, we've actually jumped forward a whole 3 weeks into the future. Batman is in some sort of dingy basement, as a man with a bag over his head begins to slowly die at Batman's feet. This is all the work of a mysterious and shadowy new serial killer, whose name is not actually revealed in the issue, but the solicitations call her Asima. I actually have a lot of thoughts on this new villainess's costume, but we don't even get to see that in the issue, just her shadowy figure and needle-like gloves. Asima says that she's done all of this for Batman, that she thought he, more than anyone else, would want to watch this person, whoever they might be, die. Of course, Batman isn't having any of that, and the much bigger questions being asked here about life and death end up spurring on yet another flashback, this time to Bruce's father Thomas's time as a doctor. It seems that one night Thomas responded to a rather grisly accident. A young couple was in a car wreck, and the extra stress caused the girlfriend Evelyn to end up delivering her baby much earlier than expected. While Thomas's assistant looked over Evelyn, he saw that she actually had a bunch of old healed injuries, heavily implying that her boyfriend was beating her. Said boyfriend is in pretty bad condition right now, but a surgeon like Thomas should be able to save him no problem, assuming that is he actually wants to save him, wink wink. Again, much like his son Batman, Thomas absolutely rejects the idea of playing God. After all, he took the Hippocratic Oath, meaning that he has sworn to do no harm and help to save everyone, even if that someone just so happens to be a criminal asshole. Evelyn, the girlfriend, actually does end up delivering a completely healthy baby, but she makes Thomas swear to tell the boyfriend that it died, thinking of it as the only way to keep the child safe, and it's here that Thomas actually enlists the help of his wife Martha Wayne, who runs all sorts of different orphans and child's charities in the city, to try and help relocate Evelyn and the baby. And honestly, it's just kind of nice to see the Waynes doing the whole heroic thing without masks in a time before Batman. Hell, even Martha herself is actually kind of impressed when it comes to Thomas's own self-restraint. She doesn't know if she would have been able to save a guy as bad as the one he did. And why yes, before you even have to ask, young little Bruce Wayne just so happens to be eavesdropping in on his parents' conversation. He doesn't understand the severity of everything that's being said right now, but he does ask his dad why he made the choice he did. And honestly, his answer is pretty profound. We don't know how a life will be lived, we don't know its value, and if we can't save a life, if we don't, what does that make us? I don't know why Bruce's dad is Ray Winstone in my mind, he just kind of is. And with that, we actually finally managed to flash to the present. Batman has responded to a robbery wherein a 17-year-old kid just made his situation way worse by shooting the shopkeep, thinking the gun's safety was on. Batman gives chase, but only after making sure the shopkeep lives. Again, the whole worth of a life theme that's all throughout this story. That means the kid gets a pretty good head start on Batman. And while in a conversation with Oracle, Batman is forced to admit that he's gonna have trouble catching this ne'er-do-well. After all, Bruce isn't a young Batman anymore. He's carrying about 50 pounds of Kevlar on him, and he's had more knee surgeries than this kid he's chasing has had knees. Still though, Batman wants to try his hardest to catch this kid, because according to Oracle, while looking through his file, he's a real hard luck case that could give even the Robins a run for their money. Furthermore, he decided to hide out in a storm drain, and rain is coming, meaning there's a good chance he might drown if Batman doesn't find him first. Though sadly, Batman doesn't find the kid first, as he's already dead by the time he shows up on the scene. In fact, this is becoming a rather terrifying MO that the Dark Knight has noticed. Young criminals all killed in the same completely non-painful way, leaving nothing behind but a very particular kind of musk perfume. It definitely looks like Gotham City has another serial killer on its hands, but unfortunately investigating this is going to have to wait, as Bruce Wayne is needed at another one of those fancy galas he's always attending. Though this one is actually a little different, as Bruce actually likes and has a history with the woman throwing the event. One Scarlet Martha Scott, yes, that's right, the baby from the flashback all grown up, who, as we learn in short order, thanks to the Waynes, ended up having one a hell of a life. In fact, she became the youngest geneticist ever to work at Wayne Enterprises before eventually striking out on her own. And what is her new job? Well, selling life-changing gene therapy to the ultra-rich, something that makes them feel younger, fuller, more complete, brand new even, and guess what? She decides to offer the same life-changing treatment to Bruce. And hey, what perfect timing, right? Batman was already starting to feel his age, and now you're telling me there's a brand new guilt-free way to help him keep his edge? Batman certainly thought about doing something similar before, either using lantern ring power or advanced robotics or magic to help him stave off the effects of regular human aging, but he always rejected those ideas eventually. But here, this is something completely medical and offered by a friend no less. What could possibly go wrong? Well, for starters, maybe the fact that Scarlet has a rather shitty view on humanity, saying that some lives are more important than others, again completely spitting in the face of Thomas's own moral lesson from before. Also, hey, Scarlet, aren't you about the same size and cut the same silhouette as a certain Asima serial killer? I'm sure that won't be important. What is important, though, is we actually get treated to one more Thomas flashback. We see the wife-beater from before get out of surgery and try to assault a bunch of the different hospital staff in an attempt to leave. Now, legally, Dr. Thomas can't hold him. The surgery was a success, so if the guy wants to leave, he can leave. And it sure as hell feels like everyone in the hospital wishes he would. But hey, what was this guy's name that they're discharging right now? Oh, you know, just Joe freaking Chill. Because hey, we don't know the value of a life. We don't know how it will be lived unless we do. And so that was Detective Comics number 1090, everybody, and I would say this brand new Tom Taylor era is off to a pretty slick start. Taylor certainly knows his way around pulpy, moody detective stories, and kicking off a big multi-generational mystery seems to be a pretty damn good place for the Detective Comics book to be living right now. Even if several of the major story elements in this one actually remind me a lot of what's going on in the new Batman and Robin book right now, what with the whole gala gone wrong, and an old family friend from the Wayne's past rolling into town who may or may not be a villain. Again, I know that's pretty bog standard Batman stuff at this point, I just think it's funny that two books did it so close together. As I stated before, I actually really like it when stories flash back and let us see the Waynes in just an average day in their lives trying to help make the city better, and how all the positive life lessons they imparted onto Bruce still ring true with him as an adult and in his work as Batman. I also feel like with all the flashbacks and mystery villains and guys with bags on their heads, there's probably gonna be some big third act aha gotcha moment. So I'm gonna wait to reserve judgment on the whole, oh, did Thomas Wayne actually save the life of his and his wife's killer without even knowing it? Even though as it stands right now, that seems to be everything everyone is talking about in relationship to this story. Overall, though, I would give it a very positive 8 out of 10. I think Detective Comics is gonna be in good hands moving forward, and I'm excited to see what Tom Taylor does with this blank canvas, especially when we stop and consider historically Detective Comics being the secondary Batman book. Writers have been free to get away with more.
Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, you know, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.